That'll probably do it. There we go. Well, welcome everyone. My apologies about the technical issues we've been having. Been a little bit of a crazy session and I have not been able to follow it. Quite a few people are out on track at the moment. I will confirm for you guys. So one night only, Mr. Fury Strat steps into the com box of Tier 4. And serving qualifying bands tonight, we do have the following drivers of Woofer, Quiet Cake, Tuxie, Callboy, AJ, 9, Wood, who are all serving their qualifying bands tonight. I'll give you guys a brief rundown of the top 3 in the chip as Q1 coming to an end now. And let me just bring it all up here. Sorry, I'm very unprepared for this, but that's fine. We'll roll with the punches and go on as we see fit. So it'll be interesting to see what cars actually make it through out of this session. But in terms of the championship standings, our top 3 in the Drivers' Championship. So we've got Striker 9. He's got 45 points over Grandson Nips. He's 10 points clear of Callboy in the Aston Martin. So all 3 of those drivers racing tonight. Callboy, as mentioned before, does have a qualifying ban. By the looks of it though, quite the number of drivers have crashed. Hey, Callboy, if everyone sets a lap, then everyone is through. Yep, that's pretty much how it works. But the thing is that a lot of guys have retired from the session on those laps. So I do believe Matty Ross Watson is out of the session. Roland Dunder, I think he just set one and went safe. I think Jed's doing the similar thing. He's got no front wing at the moment. Striker, he's gone out on now lap at the moment, but Ramin, I think we lost his car at some point. I know we lost Kiwi Asbro as well. During the session so far, but it's been a little bit interesting. Obviously 45 points, quite the margin for everyone to track back on, but not impossible. With the beautiful streets of Saudi where we are racing tonight, Skittle Peaks left the session. Let me get you an invite, Skittle. Why are people on inters? So because there's 5 qualifying bands and we knock out 5 drivers in qualifying, we don't actually need you to. You just need to set a lap. You don't have to set a good one. So why use the dry tires would be the theory they're all going with. Skittle Peak, you have another invite, mate, so hopefully you can join back into the session and we won't have to worry about missing you for too long, mate. But Q1 just coming to a close now. Striker 9, the last driver to set a lap. He's on the inters, just kind of vibing out. We could have had a very quick Q1, but they've decided to go another way with it all. So there is that stuff, Chef. He's out on track. He's on soft tyres at the moment. Not sure why he is out on that tyre. But he's doing some laps. So Callboy is the lead car who has not set a lap. So he'll actually drop to 15th place. So Callboy, you already retired. So you won't actually get... if you go through to Q2, please, yeah. Same process, mate. Just retire straight away. I think it was Ramin that unfortunately lost control of his car during this session. So it's not me, it's you currently, and Skittle Peak both went out on medium tyres. Everyone else gone softs apart from I crossed you, execute order 66. Matty Ross Watson and Jed Stoward, who have gone for the intermediate tyre, and once again, as mentioned before, it is a dry track. Like, let's be real, we're not getting much rain around Jeddah in any particular hurry, but when you've only got a set of lap time and you can save a set of tyres, definitely the option to go for. So we're just waiting for the last kind of cars to come back into the pit lane, end that session off. So we've got 145 left to go still, so still plenty of time. Rain would be interesting. I'd be keen for a wet Jetta. Not tomorrow night. Tonight though, all for it. Tomorrow night, not so much. If all the drivers, well, now that Striker 9's back in the pit lane, if everyone who is still alive in the session wants to just retire, that would be great. We can move straight on through. Either way, it's going to go on at about 45 seconds either way. We're getting there. Definitely getting there. And I do just want to let you all know the next session will be a little bit better. Did just have to go off and grab a quick little drink. I am solo coming tonight. Normally we do have Venti doing that, but he's off tending to his personal matters, and do send my love out to Venti. And Moose is normally our lobby host, which is for the reason for the delayed start. So my apologies for all that, getting run around very last minute, but Tetris O'Hare definitely into weather, mate. The rain could not be coming down any harder. How we weren't on full wets is beyond me. Jed Stoward picked up a 5-place penalty. Not sure exactly why. Well, let's have a look at the race director. That'll tell us. Collision with Ramin. So Ramin's crashed out, and then Jed unfortunately has made contact with the crashed out vehicle. So losing from this session. So we have Kiwi Asbro, Kiwi Tuxi, Quiet Cake, Ramin, Woofer, and Coolboy will also take no further part in qualifying. He is actually serving a qualifying ban tonight. So we're only looking for 4 more to be removed, and we really haven't seen times of ultra competitive nature just yet. Got a little bit before the session gets underway, and then we'll roll through the very long but very quick street circuit that is Jeddah. Alrighty, so now as we start filtering out the cars, welcome everyone who has just joined us. You've joined us for the start of Q2. Do apologise about the small stream delay we've just had before during Q1. We're working out some technical issues. It was a bit of a late call up for myself, but you are joined by the one and only Mr. Fury Strat. Previous ex Tier 1 commentary, did quite a fair bit of that. Would have some track stats for you tonight, but unfortunately I had the call up to do all of this about an hour ago, and unfortunately with 2 kids, life gets in the way pretty quickly. But Coolboy is already retired from the session, so as mentioned, he will not be taking any further part in qualifying. Execute Order 66 on full wet, so maybe some Monaco-esque rain out of nowhere coming that the engineers haven't predicted just yet. A lot of guys going the soft compounded tyres, so really committing to that soft tyre for that first stint. You may find some tyre overheating through that through that first kind of portion of the race. But Execute Order 66 playing for 3 more DNFs. Around this track it's not hard, the walls are pretty tight, and we will go on board with none other than Cheap Trick, who is coming all the way down with the DRS open down the main straight into turn 1, comes through turn 2. Really tricky on the exit here, as you can see. Doesn't quite get the power down quite as early as he would have wanted. Then turns it in for turn 4. Coming through now turn 5. Long sweeping right back into turn 6. And then a double hit at 7, 8. And then you're coming up to turn 9 here. And turn 10, you need to get this right because you want to get the run down to this DRS and down to the hairpin at turn 12. You're going to see majestic magenta sectors every single time they come. A Cheap Trick comes through the timing boards in the Alfa Romeo. Another little weird kind of corner. It starts on camber but ends up off camber on exit as you start running up through the hill. Take a little bit of curb, not a lot of confidence to throw the car in there. I'm sure you'll see some of the guys throwing their car pretty hard through that section of track. Now a lot of kind of just little weaving moments as you come down what is essentially a little back straight before another little chicane. Hard on the gas. DRS opens really early into this yellow wall Expo Dubai section, followed by DHL signage absolutely everywhere. We will mention the DHL fastest lap at some point as well. As you turn into the corner at the final corner where we saw Max Verstappen put it in the wall in 2021, and you come down all the way down to the line, and that is a 1:33.007 for Cheap Trick. We've got the Red Bull of Grandson Nips in behind. He goes to the top of the session on a 1:30.1. He's gone for the medium compounded tyre, so showing he can be quicker despite the fact he is on a slower tyre. Rolling Thunder in the Mercedes doing quite well at the moment. He goes a 32.7 to go 3/10 clear of Cheap Trick in behind him. We've got Jed Stoward in the McLaren reserving tonight, 37.4 for him, followed by Skittle Peak, who sets a 31. Pretty close to dead, 001 on the end of that to go third. I cross you in the Haas. He jumps up to P2 with a 30.6 and a big corner cut at turn 1, so no follow-up lap time from him. But currently Grandson Nips has the he's really laid the gauntlet down with half a second nearly clear at the top. Junior Barber, and he is in the Alfa Romeo in 14th. He didn't he invalidated his lap time, and Matty Ross Watson is on the same in his Alpine. But we are moving on and getting all the way through this session. I don't think anyone's actually on a push right now. Let's have a look. That's Stuff Chef. He's coming out for an out lap. It's not me, it's Hughes on an out lap. Junior, Cheap Trick might be on a lap. Let's have a look and see how much more confidence he's gained in the car, or whether he's just going to throw it back into the pit lane. Still burning ERS the whole time, so he's definitely found it. He's found half a second, moves himself up into 4th, but does put a second lap on those tyres. Grandson Nips, he's gone into the pits now, so that will be him kind of happy for the moment. Rolling Thunder, he's lost a 10th and a half. Don't know whether he's setting up for a lap or pulling into the pit lane, but with a little bit of contact on that last bit of wall, I would assume it was pit lane bound for him. Skittle Peak, he's up nearly 0.3 of a second to try and put himself towards the front row. Unfortunately, it does not. He's still a 10th off of Across You. Puts himself into 3rd though in the Alpine. Jed Stoward did not improve that lap, but he was on a charge, so nothing doing for him. Junior Barabran, this first time we're going to see from him, and it's a 30.4 into P2 for the Alfa Romeo driver, and a bit of a notice for everyone in the Constructors' Championship. Alpine have kind of skipped away a little bit with their point scoring of late in P1 in the chip, and then we do have a bit of a battle between the likes of AlphaTauri, Ferrari, and I do believe the other team might be Williams. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on the third team, but it's definitely AlphaTauri and Ferrari. I do believe AlphaTauri's actually jumped over the top of our early leaders. Matty Ross Watson goes in to the 141.0s on that medium tyre, done a second lap there, so not what he's going to be looking for. It's not me, it's you. Him and that Stuff Chef finishing their laps at the same time. That Stuff Chef did a 35.0 on mediums. It's not me, it's you, and the Scarlet Red Ferrari a 33.9. We've got Bill's Battlers. He's just started a lap. He's coming down the main straight. He's gone for the medium tyre. Execute order 66. He's also going to be going for the as my game is kind of glitched out because it's saying Execute order 66 is on an outlet, but he's only just come out, so clearly not had the DNFs he was hoping for. As I do believe that was Jed. Yeah, Jed Stoward jumps up into P2 with a 30.3. Juna Barabran goes clear at the top of 1:29.795, and that is just about the quickest time we've seen thus far. However, the thing we have to remember here, delta between tyres puts the Alfa Romeo driver actually back behind grandson Nibs, but does give him a little bit of gap at the front of the grid. Bill's Battlers, he's invalid, so he will not be improving on his lap time. Do believe Matty Ross Watson, he's 8 seconds up at the moment, so he's going to be finding time all the way through the rest of this one. Comes up into the hairpin as we've got 7 minutes to go. Yellow flag in sector 2. It's just the slow moving Alpine of Execute Order 66 possibly, or that's Tough Chef, as Matty Ross Watson jumps himself up into P6 on that medium compound of tyre, and we'll probably be hoping that that's going to be good enough. It's not me, it's you. Returns back to the pit lane. That's Tough Chef also back to the pit lane. Bill's Execute Order 66. He has started his lap. Did not get the DNFs he was hoping for to do this run on the wet tyres, as he was so hoping. Bill's Battlers, he will be setting up his lap now on that medium compounded tyre, and with the invalidation obviously. Juna Barabran, don't think he's pushing at this point. No, he's definitely got the ERS off. And Jed has brought it back to the pit lane as we now flick over to Jace F1. The AlphaTauri squad have been quite strong in Tier 4. Striker obviously leading the championship. You got Jace F1. He's trying to do the best that he can. His helmet nearly kind of completely blends in with the darker colours of the AlphaTauri livery on the 2021 game. And he comes out of the final corner, gets the DRS wing open. Want to hug the inside right on the edge of the pit lane there. But he does a 30.9 and is 8 tenths off on the same compound of tyres as grandson Nips. As Roland Thunder, he's come back out to the track. He is on set of soft tyres, so he's looking to improve his standing. Wants to make sure he gets through to Q3. But once again, that's it's not a hard track to overtake, but you don't want to be getting caught up in the wrong battle, and that's the main thing. Execute Order 66 in the Alpine. He's coming through. He's absolutely clobbered the wall in qualifying, the same wall that Max Verstappen's put himself in during Q3. Gets all the way up on the line. Does a 31.1, and now whether the car's got any damage or not, visibly doesn't look like it, but if it does, that car is going to be a handful, and he may want or need a better time than that to get himself out of the session. Bill's Battlers, he's coming through. Deploy, absolutely use a 31.8 for him as Striker 9. He's just started his first lap of the session with 4.5 minutes to go. The session has absolutely clattered through at the moment as Execute Order 66 definitely missed a couple of corners there. It looked like it was just an error and a bit of understeer from him though. Bill's Battlers, he's putting everything on it. Looks like he could be doing a third lap on this medium compounded tyre, and we'll check his delta. There he is, 2 tenths up, so he is definitely on an improve at the moment. Jace F1, he's going back to the box, one would assume, being down as much time as he is. Rolling Thunder, first lap on the soft tyres this session. He's 4.2 seconds down, so not finding the time that he would want to be getting out of this one. Comes across the line, only a 1:37.0, so maybe he didn't realise that it was still a valid lap, and he thought it might have invalidated somewhere. Got the Ferrari of It's Not Me, It's You with the ironic 66 number from on the front end of his car. Ironic only because we have the Execute Order 66 on the of the Alpine driver who's reserving tonight. He also has the of course the 66 numbers for all the Star Wars fans out there. We will go back though to Striker, who is the furthest along. He's just come through the final corner, so medium tyres for him. He's going to be looking to kind of really solidify this P1 in the championship. Only 4 races to go. A total of 124 points are on offer. And, oh, my apologies, Execute. I probably missed that full-time driver change, or if you were drafted in at the start of the season, well played to you. My apologies. I only really dealt with the stewarding with Tier 4. I haven't followed it all that closely. Mostly because I see half of the race anyway in the stewards reports afterwards, but that's okay. So striker 9. So second race is full time. So, well, congratulations, mate, on your full-time seat recently. Congratulations on the promotion to being full-time. So Juna Barabran, he set the pace and he's actually gone out again. So maybe not thinking he's comfortable with a 29.7. Grandson Nips, he's on the mediums. He's saying, well, you guys can all set as many laps as you want. I'm not going back out there again. So I don't know why any of you are. Cheap Trick, though, he's going to set another time. He was, it said he was 5 tenths up, but that was just his previous best through the last lap. He's 4 tenths up, though, through Sector 1. He'll be looking for a lot more than that. Needs at least 2 tenths to get himself out as make it 3 tenths as It's Not Me, It's You does the 32.1 to see himself up into the top 10 to make it through to our Q3 session tonight. Striker, he looks like he's backed off the ERS and backed off the throttle, maybe cooling down the tyres. May want to set up another run. We'll see what he decides to do. There is the Alfa Romeo behind him of Juna. Do believe he's going to be coming through for a lap. He definitely is. He's absolutely flooring it. And let's see what he's got. He's 29.9, so he's lost some time somewhere across the lap and was probably through that last sector. Or that tyre didn't fire up the way he wanted it to. I crossed you. He's back into the pit lane, so clearly thinks he is now comfortably safe. So looking back to Cheap Trick, he's the lead Alfa Romeo on a lap. He is the, he's the first one that can really adjust things on our pecking order. Does a 31.350, knocks It's Not Me, It's You back out of qualifying and puts himself up in a P9. Bill's Battlers, he's on the cusp and he is in the pits. Matty Ross Watson, he's invalid. He's going to need to pump that ERS down. Get it back up for his next push run because this lap is not going to count. Rolling Thunder doing a similar thing, but he's on. He's come through 1 and 2, a little bit snappy on the exit there, pushing very hard as a Merc driver. Needs to find 1.3 seconds. Ratty Ross Watson, he's going to cross the line. He used all his deploy still, so that'll slightly affect him on this lap, but he did a 30.8, so he knows the time is there. It's Not Me, It's You. He improved by 3 tenths, but it's not enough. He's got enough time to do a third lap, but those soft tyres may be crying by the end of it, so he's still in P11. We've got the Alfa Romeo of Juna. He's coming up to the final corner now. Surely we would see the Alfa Romeo put it back in the pit lane. He is top of the session at the moment, and there is the checkered flag. So Juna boxes it up with Grandson Nips, Jed Stoward, I Cross You, Skittle Peak, and Striker all definitely safe at the moment. We've got 3 cars out there at the moment. The lead car at the moment on a valid lap time is Rolling Thunder, but he is 4 tenths down. He's going to have to find all of his time through Sector 3. Absolutely grinds out every single millimetre of rev limiter on the Mercedes as he comes up through the DRS. Comes down to the 100 and down to the 50. Hard on the brakes for the final corner. Little bit of throttle as you can see there. Then gradually starts to build it up in second gear. Little snap on the exit. Has he done enough? No, he's put it in the box. So doesn't feel that he's done enough in this session. Our Aston Martin now. He's the next car. Bill's Battlers. He's on the cusp. He's going to be counting what he can do. Matty Ross Watson in the Aston. Let's see whether he can put himself into Q3, and it's a 31.601. Unfortunately for Matty Ross Watson, it is no good, and It's Not Me, It's You will jump his car into the pit lane, and that will be all she wrote for qualifying, folks. So out of this session, we're losing Matty Ross Watson, who just couldn't quite get there at the end. 31.6 for him. Matty, It's Not Me, It's You. He is in P12. Rolling Thunder 13th. That's Tough Chef in 14th. Coolboy, obviously with that quali band, somehow got a little bit lucky and found himself the Q2 session, so he did not set a lap time. But for tyres, and I will remind everyone before the start of the race, so Grandson Nips, 1 lap on those mediums compared to Juna's. He did 3 laps on that set of softs. He has the second most on one set of softs, but we have, of the grid, 5 soft and 5 medium, so could make the start very interesting for these boys, but Grandson Nips looks to be the favourite to take out the pole in the Red Bull, with some of those medium runners probably set to mix it up a little bit later on. And well, I'll give myself a little bit of a break, and we will wait to go through. Alrighty, welcome back everyone. The all-important Q3 session, and here we go. We're going to see the boys absolutely sending it all the way up to the barrier, and probably pushing maybe a little bit too hard, but this is the time. If you got any time in the car, this is the time to show it. So it'd be interesting to see who does what. The trend at the moment is the Red Bull of Grandson Nips seems to have the pace a little bit like the Red Bull did here at Max Verstappen in 2022, and doesn't look like he's going to have a lot of trouble, but we never know. This track can be very unpredictable with its race results. But first out onto the track was none other than Bill's Battlers in the Williams car. Not gonna worry about putting the tyres up. Everybody, I do believe, apart from Execute Order 66, who's been playing some games, all Alfa Romeos from both tiers are in Q3. Well, that's a beautiful thing to hear, Fiery Hour. No bias at all, just because I'm an Alfa Romeo driver. Absolutely wonderful to hear that all four Alfa Romeos so far have made it through into Q3, but they're bottom of the Constructors' Championship, so I will downplay it. Execute Order 66 says strategy. So, interesting call. I will let you listen to DZ strats all you like. Normally I give him strats on a Monday night in other races, but anyway. But I digress. We'll move back to Bill's Battlers. He will be the lead car for this one, and the first kind of car we see from Tier 4 going in anger. I would assume Tier 3, given the fact we already know what their Q3 looks like, I would assume that they've already started it. If you could give me an update there, lad, that would be greatly appreciated. But we are moving through here, so through 1 and 2 now. Through the start of the lap, it's very important to not end your lap there, but it's so easy to lose all of your time straight away. You've then come through. Miss Execute does this strategy every league, so watch out. That's alright. If he does it in every league, consistency is key. That's what they say. Coming up now down the back straight again, majestic magenta sectors everywhere you go for him and the Williams driver. He's used every millimeter of exit coming out of the hairpin. Did not want to leave any bit of road coming out of there. So Bill's Battlers, he's showing that he's got some pace in this Williams, and he wants it to be on the front row. The Alpha Tauri in behind him does look like it is closing though, so fastest sector 2 on 1:0.4 for Bill's Battlers of a periodic time, I should call it, as he now comes back through. Cool boy giving away the Execute strats, mate. That's a bit rough. Poor old Execute. Now what's he gonna do? Might have to flick on hards or something. But comes out of the final corner, flicks on the DRS. He's already used his deploy, so that just tells you that he's got his throttle open a lot more than a normal driver. So 31.1, immediately blown out of the water by the quickest time we have seen all night. Striker 9 does a 29.293. He's clearly had the sandbags on prior to this session, as Grandson Nips though absolutely destroys him. with a 28.6. Skittle Peak set a time to a 30.3, but that is an epic lap from Grandson Nips, and we didn't even get to ride on board with it. But Jed Stoward, 36.0, so not the time, not the way he probably wanted to start this session. I crossed you in the Haas. He is invalid, so nothing he can really do at this point. And a bit of a reminder for everyone, if you would like to jump on board and sign up for Season 4 if you haven't already, more than welcome to do that. There is the Season 4 stuff is out. You can do more things than just racing here. You can do apply to be a steward, apply to be an admin, commentary. We're always looking for more commentators. We'd like to have I'd like to have someone I can pass it to instead of sitting here by myself and trying to make it all up as I go along. But got to do what we got to do. But there's all types of roles that you can do here, and we've also, with the forecasting of crossplay for the next game, are looking at bringing in PC racing as well, but that will all be next season. Focus for tonight will be finishing up this one. Juna Barabran, he is on a lap, so he's just started his lap. He's going a little bit different to everyone else in the session thus far. He gone off tempo is what we sometimes call it. Skittle Peak is he's gone for a secondary push. I think Jed's also improving. He does to a 29.5. So we've now got 3 drivers in the 29s, and all 3 have gone quicker than what we have seen thus far. Juna Barabran, he's gone the purple sector 1, the funny number 69 on the Alfa Romeo, the red and white streaking all the way through. Probably one of the better liveries from the 2021 season, especially under lights. The Alfa Romeo really looks quite spectacular in the 2021 game, but the liveries aren't important. Doesn't make your car any good. A near 1 minute dead cumulative time to sector 2. So Juna Barabran, he's really pushing to try and put his Alfa Romeo on the front row. Would really like a good handful of points as he holds the sense bias. Mate, I want to get out of that car. I've been in it for the last 2 seasons. Better than the multiplayer Alpine that Sandeezy picks all the time. But Juna Barabran comes down to a 30.3, so not quite the best we've seen out of Juna just thus far, I should say. So trip over all my words. Bills Battlers does a 30.1, so he finds himself now in P4 on the second row of the grid. We've got 4 or just over 4.5 minutes remaining. Our lead car is Jed Stoward, but he's 5 seconds down, so he's not going to be doing anything with that. See if Juna is on a double push. I would say he's not. You'd want to be leaving it a little bit later to get the maximum out of the track. He is slightly up, so we will ride on board with the Alfa Romeo driver, trying to improve his standing. The fuel light is flashing, and I'm not 100% sure. I'm just trying to see. Nah, I can't quite see how much fuel it is, generally because they have the fuel right in the timing spot for the race. So unable to tell in the moment, but he will be sending it because with this much time left, it is a shorter lap here despite the length of the track, as he is up 0.193. Now coming through into this fast left-right, uses every millimetre of road. There comes now, opens the DRS through this first bit, and you want to hold it super tight to the wall. That curb there, it's basically just painted on road. It doesn't even feel like a curb. Touch the outside curb, open yourself up for the hairpin. Does it very nicely, keeps the car straight, wants to point it towards the pit entry, and that would essentially come to the shortest run to the line. Still does a 29.9 though, so finds himself into P4 at the moment. Does jump over the Williams of Bill's Battlers. Jace F1, he's on a lap, but he is invalided on that lap. Cheap Trick goes through. So the purple sectors at the moment, I do apologise to everyone, they are glitching out because that is not the fastest sector, the 32.4. It's just Cheap Trick's fastest sector. So Skittle Peak, he's also setting up a lap, so we'll keep riding on board with Cheap Trick 60, looking to try and copy his Alfa Romeo teammate up in P4. The glorious heights that Alfa Romeo has not been quite often this season, unless you're at the hands of Fiery Hour in an OSRL jury strat. In a couple of the other tiers, as thank you Juna for letting Jed go. He's just on an outlap though, which is, it's always better to just get out of the way, even if they're on an outlap though. So Cheap Trick comes through there, keeps the car relatively nice through that section of track. Now has the wing wide open and comes across the line. It's a 31.7 for Cheap Trick. Not going to be quite enough for him. Striker 9, he improves. He finds nearly 4.5 tenths to go to 28.8. So 2 drivers now in the 28s. Unfortunately though, for Striker, it's not quite enough. So Jace F1, he's the car in behind Execute and his teammate. So maybe you might see Striker just slow back up, try and give his teammate maybe a little bit of a tow to try and help him out in this session. But Junior Barabran, his session will be over. Bill's Battlers, so he's fully in the garage. He'd probably get around for another lap, but I wouldn't expect to be seeing any further part in this session from those 2 drivers. You've got the Alpine now of Skittle Peak. He is coming down to the line. Let's see what he can do. Sets the multiplayer car into P6, so 30.2. Did improve on the lap, but it's not enough to find another spot. We've got the Red Bull of Grandson Nips. He's been the lone flagged Red Bull throughout this session. The junior AlphaTauri team been showing up the drivers maybe to try and get a call up for next season. I crossed you setting up his lap at the moment. Cheap Trick, he's invalid, so he's still pumping the ERS though, and fuel light is on, so would be assuming this is a box and be Cheap Trick out of the rest of this session. Jace F1, nice little tow from Striker 9. He's not on a lap, he's 2.5 seconds down, and the fuel is out of that first AlphaTauri. Jace though, looking to set his first lap of the session, and he comes across and dislodges Juna and sets a 29.8 to find himself, yes, 1 second behind his teammate, but he's currently on the second row of the grid. You've got Execute, who's just started his first and only flying lap in Q3. Jed Stoward, he's going to start the final lap of Q3. As we start to wind this one down, we've only got 22 seconds before we round this one out. So Skittle Peak, he's the lead car. Invalid though, his time will not improve, so the best he can do is P6. Got Grandson Nips, he's coming through. He's already the top driver. The fuel is being lowered out of it. The ERS is pumping through the Red Bull. He's going to try and set a time which will not be taken off. So there's confirmation. Both Alfa Romeos are done. And Bill's Battlers and Skittle Peak as well. Grandson Nips, he's not improved. Didn't quite find the time, but found some airtime at the end of the session, so he remains P1 at the moment. I crossed you. He's lost it somewhere and lost the front wing, and invalidated the lap. So unfortunately for him, that's session done and dusted. Execute, he's going to try and come through the end of the session and set the world on fire. He's been lighting up some curious compounds, we'll call them, throughout of this qualifying session. Runs it all the way out to the wall for the final corner. He's realistically the only driver left who can really change the current starting order as he opens up the DRS. Shortest runs of the line, and it's a 29.3. Sets himself to the second row of the grid. Does Execute a little bit off our lead runners, but he finds the pace at the end of the session. Jed, he invalidated, so that's him done and dusted, and that is qualifying. And the lead hand goes to Grandson Nips in the Red Bull, followed by Striker 9, the only 2 drivers to drop into the 28 bracket. Then will be followed Execute and Jed on row 2, the Alpine and the McLaren. Then you've got the AlphaTauri of Jace lined up alongside Juna Barabran, who'll be happy with that qualifying for P6 for Alfa Romeo. The Williams of Bill's Battlers in P7 with the second Alpine, Skittle Peak, who, the Alpine team already doing quite well in the Combined Constructors Championship and clearly showing why. Cheap Trick 60, P9, and I crossed you. Won't be happy with that. Really, probably had better pace, but we won't actually know what that is due to him crashing out through that Q3 session. But we're going to take a short little game break while we wait for the cars to come in. Wait for everything to get loaded up. So kick back, relax, grab your popcorn, grab your drinks. We're about to enjoy 25 laps of Saudi Arabia very shortly. Well, that was odd. I don't think that wasn't supposed to happen. Alright. Bear with me, everyone. There may be a possible restart. But that was very weird. Did not have a formation lap, but some guys kind of going on. Cool. Alrighty, so just got confirmation. We will be lobby restarting. My apologies to all of those guys. Alrighty, so everyone, if you can jump out of the session, the stream will go off. I do apologise. We will be, we'll have to get it all sorted up again, but we will hopefully get it sorted quickly and back underway shortly.